www.worshipradio.com or follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Worship Radio INT. This is the future.
Hey everybody, this is Al with Coaching by Al. Man, I'm so glad to be back. Here we are in 2020. Coaching by Al. We are here live. Woo! We are here and we are having a wonderful time. It's so good to see all of you. I know many of you are already getting started to chime in and get ready to see what's happening on Al Wilson Jr. But I want to say this. We want to thank God for our sponsors, holycloud.us. Listen, they do everything. Write that website down. It's holycloud.us. Holycloud.us. Go there. They take care of everything from building websites to giving you business emails. You can have multiple emails. You can have unlimited emails. They handle SSL certificates for your websites. You know how important that is and sometimes how costly it is, especially if you go with other domain providers. You can get your domain name, like that part that goes in front of the .com, like I had coachingbyal.com or have coachingbyal.com. They can take care of getting you that part of your domain name, and then you can make your emails off of that. So you can have like info at coachingbyal.com, for example, or whatever your name is. You have to find out if it's available, but you can do that also at holycloud.us. So we want to thank them again for sponsoring today's show. And for those of you, if you're interested in sponsoring a show, then just contact me. Let me know. You can go to info@coachingbyal.com. You can write me there, send an email to me. Let me know that you're interested in sponsoring a show. And if you have a business or whatever it is that you do, if you want to be a sponsor, I will be sure to mention your name. If we can maybe put together some graphics, we can even talk about a package of how you could sponsor a whole season of the show. So just consider that as well. But that's enough of that. We have some topics to get into today that I know you're going to love. My sister is here with me.
Hello.
Finally, we've been working on this for a long time, y'all. Because we talked about the need to get people into the mindset, especially going into 2020, about how to start getting our mind wrapped around handling internal home business. Right. And I'm not talking about a home-based business, but finances. Budgeting.
Yes.
And so I am so pleased to have with me a woman who, do you want me to give like the full introduction of what you do?
Ahead.
You could do it better than I could.
Okay.
How long have we been knowing each other? Let's see.
Let's see. It's been about 28 years.
28
years for sure.
Come on now, somebody. so you can already tell that we go way back.
Way back. Too far back.
Okay. Like babies and pacifiers way back. And so but we are definitely totally connected for life. Her husband is like one of my absolute best friends in the whole world. We grew up together. In fact, we've been knowing each other. Me and Grove have been knowing each other since we were 7.
Yeah. So,
right.
Oh
and
God,
so
I can't even do the math right now.
Right. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. So we have just been together all of our lives. Yeah. We've grown up together. We've experienced things together. Yeah. And I've seen you in that time go from graduating high school to going on to college at Wayne State.
That's right.
And graduated engineering with honors, y'all. She's the bomb. And then went on from there. Even before you finished at Wayne State, you had already started working for
General Motors.
General Motors, and has moved up incredibly in General Motors. This lady right here, she is okay. She's being modest, but she is a shot caller, y'all. Okay, and so I am so honored to have with me today. I know some of y'all are like, well, what's her name?
Yeah,
her name is Jackie Cross. Welcome to Coaching by Al.
Thank you. I'm really happy to be here today.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a wonderful time. And let me see, are we showing live yet? Are we live on here? Okay, so this is what you want to do. For those who need to be able to see us, go to Worship Radio International. Go to Worship Radio International. That's the Facebook page you want to go to if you want to watch live. I'm going to go there now just to make sure that we have an opportunity to share it to my page. Let's see, Worship Radio International. Give me just a second, Sister Jackie.
Oh, no problem.
And because I know we're live on here, and then what I'm going to do is share it live
Everybody else.
to my page, and
I'm learning about that social media thing, so I get it. I get it now. I'm starting to understand how
she
it
is
works.
so funny. She is so funny. But yeah, so here we go. And now I believe we should be sharing it live. Now, so this is what we want to do. I gotta say this first of all. Hey to my love, Tarsha,
Which is
my baby,
my friend, my
Her-
little short friend.
but hey to my wife, hey to my little bean at home. I love you both. Thank you so much for joining us and watching us. And then also, in
I
the
want to
studio
say,
here,
hey to my love, my man, my good thing, who's sitting in here, Mr. Grover Cross.
Hey, hey,
and
hey.
our two children who are at home, probably sleeping right about now. We care less that their mother is, live. But it's Jasmine Cross and Josiah Cross.
Yeah.
Both of my babies.
they are so sweet. So we are. Well, they're my niece and nephew. Also,
they
a godson too.
That's right.
But it's
It's
nothing funny
family.
going on.
You know what? We're
I'm
not
just
going to go
messing.
there today.
I'm just messing.
Okay,
Okay,
please don't go
so
there today.
let's do this. Let's go ahead, because I know somebody is saying, "Listen, I want to hear what they're going to talk about
Exactly.
today." We are getting into budgeting for 2020.
That's right.
So when we start to talk about budgeting, what's one of the first things that pops into your mind when you hear the word budgeting, and why do you think it's such an important topic? Let's say first of all, for maybe you and your household, and then we can start to spread it out to how it
others.
affects others. Yeah.
Okay, the first thing I want to say is budgeting is not a bad word. Okay, budgeting
again.
is something that everybody needs to do. Corporations do it all the time. Everybody needs to be on a budget. Now, for my family, and I'll even start even before I got married, right? Ever since I had a job, I was 15, I started working at Arby's. I started with a budget. At that time, I think I was making $4.75 an hour.
Wow.
And I would figure out, okay, I want to pay my tithes. That's 10% coming out. I wanted to, go to McDonald's because I like McDonald's fries, so I got to save so much for that. I mean, I had my priorities in order. Right?
That's priority. McDonald's
So-
fries are priority.
So even as a teenager, you can have budget. Even if you have a little, you can still have a budget. So that's the first thing I think of. But once we got married 20 years ago, and 20 years ago, yes, we've been married 20 years.
My goodness.
We
old.
too have a budget. We've always had a budget that we try to adhere to. Now, do we always, have a lot of savings? No, but that's okay. But we're constantly looking at the budget, trying to say, okay, because there's ups and downs and there's changes that happen.
Yeah.
And okay, we got to course correct. It's because, money is coming out faster than we're making.
Yeah.
So let's look at the budget again and let's figure out where we can cut costs so that we can pay, medical bills or whatever the case may be, credit card debt, things like that.
Yeah.
So that's what I think of when I think about budgeting.
And one of the first thing you said, not to negate everything else, but the first thing you said was really, really big with me at a time when I was just kind of coming into the understanding of finance and money, when I was starting to hit that like 18, 19, 20 phase, was I thought budgeting was a bad word.
Right, and it's not.
In that, I thought that budgeting meant that only poor people, adhere to a budget.
That is so not
everything
true.
was budget this and budget that. But then, it's almost kind of like how our society kind of uses the term budget, and it does have kind of a
Negative
dark cloud
connotations,
over it.
yeah.
Yeah, because you got budget rental car. Okay, well, why can't I go to Hertz? Because I can't afford Hertz, so I can go get budget. I
yeah.
can get a budget meal.
Right.
I can do a budget hotel. I can
Right.
do all these kind of things, and all it says is if you don't have enough, then
Right.
budget is for you.
Right.
But that's not true, because I found out later on that the richest of the richest of the richest people,
richest
yeah,
have budgets.
have budgets,
Yes.
and they stick to them.
Yes.
And it's like it's their, their rule, their
Yes.
standard.
Yes.
And so I had to kind of reconfigure in my mind what this whole budget word is about. So let's talk about a little bit more of what a budget is.
And I'm glad that you talked about that. All a budget is to me is setting priorities.
Okay.
And being realistic about the priorities. So like
Okay.
I mentioned, I like McDonald's fries, right? So therefore I like eating out. So in our budget, we have to have a component for eating out.
Okay.
I like to get my nails done. We got to put that in. I like to get my hair done. We got to put that in.
Okay.
It's not limiting what you can have, but it's making sure you account for it. A lot of
that's
times
big.
people don't think about it. And so then they're like, oh, well, I want to go take a trip. Well, did you budget for it? You can't go on a vacation if you live in paycheck to paycheck and you barely, paying your bills. So you have to account for all of that. That's what I
Okay.
think about when I think about budgeting.
Okay.
But it's not limiting yourself, but it's being realistic with yourself.
See, and I think if more people heard that, and I hope people are paying attention and watching, because that right there, I think gives people a whole nother perspective. Yeah, to look at this thing and say, wait a minute, it's okay to do this. It's okay to use this word. It's okay to let it be a household word.
And matter of fact, it's being a good steward of your finances.
See, now
Okay.
you about to go.
Yeah, because God gives us our wages however you get your money, right?
Right.
So we need to be good stewards of it, and we need to say, okay, Lord, you gave me this little bit. What do you want me to do with it? So let's start writing it out. Let's start planning it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what a budget is.
And the beautiful thing, see, now you're gonna try to make me go preach all that stuff.
I'm trying not to.
But what happens is, he says, when you are faithful over
little.
this small amount,
Yep.
he'll make you ruler over much.
much.
So there is some benefits to receive in budgeting.
That's right. So if you can't get your finances in control when you're making $100 a week, how do you think you're going to get into control if you're making $10,000 a week? It's not just going to happen by happenstance.
Yeah.
You have to have discipline. You have to control yourself, and it's hard. I'm not going to say, oh, it's easy, it's easy. No, you have to really purpose it in your heart every day. You need to really track what you're spending on a daily basis. And little things like going to Starbucks, getting coffee. It's not that you can't get coffee from Starbucks. But guess what? You better factor in $5 a day times the number of days you're
My
getting
goodness.
it. So $5 times 5, let's say it's Monday through Friday, that's $25 a week. Times 4, that's $100 a month. Now, are you willing to sacrifice $100 a month, right? Which is,
Right.
by the way, $1,200 a year on coffee. When you put it in black and white terms, then all of a sudden it's like, maybe I don't want Starbucks. Maybe I'll go to Dunkin' Donuts.
Right.
You know,
Maybe I
Dunkin'.
can buy some Folgers.
Yeah, no, maybe
Hello.
I could percolate at home. Okay, so, but you have to start putting it in writing,
Yeah.
so that you can see it. When you see it, it's like you can believe it. Right?
Absolutely.
And then all of a sudden it's like, ooh, how much am I really paying for that DirecTV bill? Maybe
Mm-hmm.
I should cut the cord.
Yeah. And the good thing about, like you said, it's not limiting. It's prioritizing, and it's also looking at, okay, what do I really want?
What do you really
What do I really want? It helps you to really so before, I think we've reached the idea of the concept. And for those of you who are just joining us, I want to say thank you again. You are watching Coaching by Al. This is a show, just to let you know, this is a show that is like a live life coach session. That's what I do. I'm a pastor, but I'm also a life coach, because they're so intertwined, they're so closely related, that what I help to do is take people from where they are to where they want to be, using most times what they already know to do.
Already know what to do.
Sometimes we're just a little
It's
lazy
just
about
common
doing
sense. Yeah.
it. Yeah, so a life coach's goal is not to be a psychiatrist and get all into the backgrounds of where you're born, where you're weaned properly, and all. No, my goal is to take the information that you know you should be doing,
and
help you to
applying it.
set out a way to apply apply it to your life, take it and break it down into bite-sized pieces that won't overwhelm you, and then get you to where you want to be. And so one of the biggest things that we definitely need to do to be able to do that is to get our finances in order. It doesn't have to be just because you're a part of a family,
Right.
or you don't have to be married, you don't
No,
have to have children
not at
to
all.
have a budget. What you do need to do, though, is have an idea of what you want. And we talk about that all the time, right? Becoming more and more specific about what it is that you actually want, getting down to the nitty-gritty of it. So now let's get into some mechanics of budgeting and what that actually looks like. Perhaps maybe, and I don't know where you want to start with it. I'm thinking in the mindset of like maybe a day in the life of a person who budgets, or wherever you want to start with it. However you want to start is fine.
What I'll start with is just simply how to create a budget. 'Cause
Okay, that's good.
Probably the number one thing people are like, okay, so you tell me I need a budget. Well, how do I obtain a budget? The easiest, quickest, freest thing to do is to Google Microsoft budget templates. There's
Okay.
a ton of them out there. They're free. You download them.
Now say that again. It was
Microsoft templates and type in budget.
okay.
That's it.
Okay.
There's a whole bunch of them on there.
All
They
right.
have them for families, whatever kind of budgeting situation you're in. And at the end of the day, all it is your income minus your expenses.
Okay.
And whatever's left over, hopefully there's something left over.
Hopefully.
Right?
Hopefully.
That's your savings.
Okay.
It's as simple as that. There's also apps that are available. Now, I would caution, especially if you're already, let's say, financially strapped, right? You kind of living paycheck to paycheck. You don't have any excess money, right?
Right.
So some of the apps, they cost. There's like a monthly fee for them.
Okay.
So I would shy away from those. I would try to do free before I would go and pay.
Okay.
Because especially if you haven't been disciplined in actually using a budget, now you got a recurring monthly thing that's happening and you still not budgeting.
Good point.
But when all else fails, because you could be saying, Jackie, I'm not technologically savvy. I don't have a computer. I don't have this. I don't. Get you some pencil and paper. Matter of fact, you take a piece of paper that maybe you got in the mail, but guess what? The back of it is blank.
okay.
Okay. You don't even have to buy lined paper. Okay. Just take it and you say, okay, I bring home X amount of dollars a month. Okay. And make it a real number. Don't try to overinflate. And if I get overtime, this is no. What do you actually bring home?
Okay.
Write that down. Then
Now bring home. Let's just in case somebody is not completely understanding.
Okay.
When we say bring home, what are we talking about?
I'm talking about after taxes. I'm talking about the money that's usually deposited into your account, right?
Okay.
Or if people still get checks, I have no idea. But whatever the case may be, right? Or if you're getting cash, right? It's the cash you have on hand. That is your income,
Okay.
okay, that you're bringing in.
All right.
But I'm cautioning folks, please do not estimate in overtime. A lot of people do that. That's what happened with the recession. A lot of people had their budgets based on working at the plant, making X number of overtime. And so their lifestyle was at the overtime amount. Never, ever, ever do that. It should be based on what you make. Okay? Not overtime is a blessing. It's not a given. Okay? So you start with your income. That's going to be your plus, right?
Okay.
But now you need to do all your minuses.
All right.
Or your expenses.
Okay.
And be real with yourself, okay?
All right.
Think about everything. So, of course, most people will think of their lights, their car notes, their mortgage, their rent, things like that. But I'm saying think about getting your hair done, your nails, getting haircuts for guys,
Okay.
your streaming fees, right? So
Yeah.
much a month or whatever. Think about everything. And then be realistic. If you know you don't plan on cooking dinner for yourself 7 days a week and you know you really eat out 3, then budget in eating out. Be realistic. Whatever
makes
your
sense.
lifestyle is, write it down. Make it plain. Once you see it, right, you add up all of the expenses, right? You take the income minus the expenses, and that is going to equal a number.
So
Now,
wait a minute. Now I don't have to go to certified public accountant. I don't have to go get a tax attorney.
No.
I don't have to go get a lawyer to try to figure all of this out. You're saying that I can do this myself.
You absolutely can do it yourself. And I'm saying with pencil and paper. Now, some people, you're going to tell me, oh, I don't like math. Okay, we're talking addition and subtraction. Okay, we're not. It's really that's all we're talking about.
Yeah, but
here.
you're an engineer.
I
mean,
understand
you
that,
talk
and
about.
I love numbers.
What about me? What about me now?
You can do this, and that's why I was suggesting to get like a template, like an Excel spreadsheet or something like that to help you out.
Okay.
But some people aren't savvy enough to do that. So I'm saying pencil and paper. There's no excuse why not to have a budget.
Okay.
But be real about it. You have to account for all expenses.
Okay.
All. Your divorce, you're paying alimony. All.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So you're in college, your tuition, your fees, your room and board, all. Whatever you're paying, whatever's going out of your pocket, you need to
Gas
put it
in the
down.
car, all of that
Gas.
stuff.
Oh, yes. Insurance for your car. That's for another day.
Okay. Okay.
Because, people who buy cars, they can't afford Cadillacs and then they can't put gas in it. Okay. Anyway, we'll move on.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So you take your income, and then you subtract the total of your expenses.
Okay.
That's going to equal a number. Now, hopefully, that's a positive number.
All right.
Even in a still best case scenario, the answer will be 0 because then you're breaking even. That's what they mean by breaking even, right?
Okay.
Where your income and your expenses, right, equal. Therefore, the total comes out to 0. Now, what you don't want and what most people will find out, especially if they're living paycheck to paycheck, that number is going to be a negative number.
Okay.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
I think, since you mentioned that, the reason why most of us don't budget is because we're afraid, and I'm saying we to make you feel. I don't want you to make it seem like I'm trying to say you. But I think the reason why most people, if I can say it that way, don't budget is because they're afraid of what they're going to see if they do. They're going to be afraid to see those bottom line figures, and that may send them into some kind of deep dark, but that's not necessarily the case.
But this is the thing. Even if you don't address it, it's still an issue. You still have finances that are messed up. So you might as well deal with that thing head on.
Yeah.
See it in black and white. And now you can say, okay, I should be able to start making some changes here because I see that I'm at a deficit.
Yeah.
Or meaning the money you bringing home is not equaling the amount of expenses. And you have two choices at that point. Either A, some kind of way increase your income. It might mean taking a second job, a second part-time job or something like that. Freelancing, whatever the case may be. I don't know what your skill set is, but you got to figure that out to bring in more income to compensate for all this expenses going out. That's one thing.
One thing.
Or you need to look at your expenses and say, okay, what can I cut out?
Okay.
Ouch, that's going to hurt. And that's why I mentioned earlier, because I'm actually considering, my husband and I, we are considering cutting our DirecTV cord, right? Because that money can go elsewhere. We don't even have time to watch it like we used to. So it's just sitting there, we're paying every month into it.
Yeah.
Why? So these are some things. And I also want to mention that you don't just create a budget one time. You periodically review that budget because life changes over time.
Yeah.
You have a new child. Okay, well, that's going to change the dynamics of the budget.
Yeah.
Okay, of the finances for the home.
Absolutely.
You get a new car. Maybe you change jobs. Whatever the case may be, you need to revisit the budget. The budget is actually, in my mind, a living entity.
See, okay. Now this is going to have to be 2 or 3 part, because the interesting thing that I see here is it seems like there's a line that is connected to not just what's happening in the household, but this is also what happens in businesses.
Yes,
this is what happens
absolutely.
in corporations. This is what happens in Amazon, Microsoft,
Yes.
Mac, Apple. All of these Fortune 500 companies do the same things that you're talking about.
Yes,
they go
absolutely
back
they
and
do.
they revisit and they restructure and they
All the time.
all of these. But where does it start? It starts right in the household.
And that's why I mentioned earlier, even if, like, I don't know what minimum wage is now, but let's say it's $8 an hour, $9 an hour, whatever case may be. Even with that amount, you can start budgeting.
Yeah.
Right? So when I hear people, I don't even make enough money to budget. That's even more reason to budget, because you really got to stretch that money out in order to cover just life's, challenges that come up.
Yeah.
Right. Because we all got to, have lights on. We all have to have, transportation, whether it's a vehicle, whether you're taking the bus, it costs. Things cost money.
And we don't always have to have the creme de la creme of everything.
That's right.
Because if we're living beyond, and I don't want to get ahead of you, but if we're living beyond the budget, like you were saying, sometimes we have to take a hard look at things we can cut, not just the cable bill, not just going out to eat, 1 or 2 nights a week, but maybe do I need to downsize my transportation?
Yeah.
Do I
Or
need to
home.
downsize my, living?
Your home. It's like, do I really need the 3,500 square foot home and it's just me in the house.
Right.
Because you got to heat that thing, right?
Gotta heat
You
it.
got to cool it. And that's maybe for another day of when you make a purchase, have you thought of all the costs?
And isn't that what Jesus said, though?
Well, yes,
a
he did.
person who starts out with a project, don't they need to sit down first and make sure that they can carry it all the way out
All
to the
the way
end?
through.
Yeah, before you jump into it. So those kind of, and true enough, situations change,
Right.
like you said.
Over time,
you know,
situations
things can happen. There could be job loss. There could be, a death in the family or something like that. Health could come into an issue, to become an issue that could start to
Deteriorate.
take up
Yeah.
finances
Yeah,
and things of
yeah.
that nature. But the whole thing is that have you started out with the best of your ability based on what you're here in now in this present time? Have you looked at everything that you can do and say, okay, this is something that I can carry out? So I'm not here to do the talking. She's here to do the talking. So again, if you're just joining us, thank you so much for watching. I see so many people watching right now, and I just want to acknowledge a few of them. I've seen my brother Darrell Beavers on. I see my cousin Christine Ben, and I see so many others on here. DeAndre Ford, I saw you on here, brother. God bless you. He has a show on Worship Radio International as well. Biz Talk with DeAndre Ford. So you want to check him out. That's on Wednesdays. And there's so many wonderful people who have a show on this program. And you might also say, you know what, Al, I got some things that I would love to share with people. I think I have a niche that I could share with all, not just Facebook, but all the people that Worship Radio International reaches, which is beyond just Facebook. You have TuneIn, you have Spotify, you have YouTube. There's so many other mediums that Worship Radio International uses to reach people. It's a radio program that just so happens to allow Facebook viewers to see us live. Okay, so there's a whole platform, there's a whole range, there's a whole market of people that you can reach. And if you're interested in doing that, then what you want to do is contact the Executive Sales Director, Linda Hunt. Go to worshipradio.faith. That's the website. worshipradio.faith. Talk to Linda Hunt. Tell him Al Wilson sent you from Coaching by Al, and start to find out about some rates for a show. Maybe it's 30 minutes, maybe it's 45 minutes, maybe it's an hour. It doesn't have to be what everybody else is necessarily saying. Now, we do need to make sure that, you're talking about things that are good and wholesome and righteous.
Amen.
And we don't do profanity, and we don't talk about things that our children can't listen
That's
to
right.
on this program here and on this station. Can I say station? Is it okay to say internet station? TV station? Oops, did I say that? I didn't. Yes, I did. Yes, I meant to say that. You heard me. You heard me. And so, but there's many people that need to hear your voice, and many people that need to hear what you're talking about. So go to worshipradio.faith. Call the number, talk to Miss Linda Hunt, the Executive Sales Director, and get them involved with what your vision is. Find out when you can come on and talk to people, and they'll love it. I'm telling you, it'll be wonderful. Matter of fact, there she is right there, the Executive Sales Director. Be sure to talk to her, okay? And worshipradio.faith. Okay, now back to, she loved me. She loved me. It's all right. Now,
Okay.
so back to what we were talking about. What do you want to talk about next as it relates to budgeting?
Well, what I want to talk about.
We talked about creating a budget.
You're right.
Okay, and then?
What I really want to talk about, I'm going to piggyback off of something that you said about, life's changing moments, right? In a perfect world, right? The ideal would be to have in your savings 3 months' salary for emergencies, things like being laid off, having a disability, the birth of a child. Maybe it's time to take care of your elderly parent.
Okay.
Things happen, right? Over time.
Yeah.
There could be a household emergency. The car breaks down. The plumbing needs to be fixed. The roof is leaking.
Okay.
Right? If we don't have savings, it's very difficult to make things happen, right? And so what ends up happening is we put it on a credit card. That is the American way. We put it on a credit card, But eventually the credit card needs to be paid off.
Yeah.
And then we go into a vicious cycle of debt.
Yeah.
Okay. And we got to break that habit. And that's why I say teenagers is not too young for them to understand this, because we need to expose our children to this. And I'm even saying even beyond that, my God, baby, your daughter who is 4, Teach them now. You know, mommy, I want to go to McDonald's. Baby, we can't go to McDonald's today because we're saving to go on vacation. Now, don't tell them that you're going to Disney. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
they'll bother you to death over that. But
Oh my goodness.
they understand.
Yeah, that you
And
got to
it's
hold
teaching
something
them-
back to get something different.
Right. It's teaching them discipline
Mm-hmm.
at a young age. So that when they get their first job as a teenager, young adult, whatever, now, okay, do I buy those jeans for $120? Or do I wait, go to Old Navy, buy them on sale for $15? It's the same brand, made in the same company, by the same people, just with a different label.
How about Salvation Army?
Oh, amen. Yes.
Right here. $2.
Yeah.
And 99 cents. And if I'd have gone on the right night, it'd have been $1.50. But
went on the wrong night.
But yeah, I went on the wrong night. But the point is that there's ways to make things work.
Right. And you can stretch your dollar. Okay. So people may be saying, okay, she just said that we need to have 3 months salary. Like,
3
does she know how much 3 months salary is? Yes, I do. But guess what? Don't make that your initial goal. Make maybe saving $100 your goal.
Okay.
I'm going to, at the end of, let's say February, since we're already in January, at the end of February, I want in my bank account or even in your envelope, whatever your situation is, right? In your coffee cup, I want $100 there.
Okay.
You start there. So then you think, okay, what can I do to get that $100? It could be simply, okay, I got a lot of stuff in my house. Well, maybe I should put it on one of those apps that I can sell my stuff, right? In order to, or, okay, people are going to say, what is she always talking about apps for? Okay, have a garage sale,
Okay.
right? Simple thing. You don't have to always be, technology. You can just start small. Again, I had said about taking on a second job.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that, right?
Right.
Or you have a skill. Maybe you're good at taking care of kids. Maybe people need a babysitter. Start advertising. You're good at watching kids. That's a skill you can get paid for. And remember, the goal is only $100 for the month of February. So how can I get that? Which breaks down to $25 a week, right? Then you break that down again, right? I always do the Monday through Friday thing. So $5 a day.
Okay,
Oh, that goes back to maybe I should give up Starbucks. Okay.
Well, yeah, but that also brings up another point because a lot of people have a tendency to not be able to wrap their mind around or gain the discipline to be able to save, because if it doesn't all come in one chunk,
Right.
and it comes in bits and pieces, then that almost becomes pocket money.
Right.
And next thing I know, I spend a little bit here, I spend a little bit there. If you break a 20, it's gone. That kind of mentality,
But
mindset.
it all adds up.
It all adds up. So then, how do I get my discipline there to be able to say, okay, if I get 15 here, if I get 20 there, if I get 25 here,
Right,
if I
it
get
adds
10
up.
there,
Yeah.
how do I gain the mental discipline to hold it all together until it becomes that $100?
Okay. This is just my opinion. I feel that it first starts with your own mind.
Okay.
You have to tell yourself, Jackie, I desire to save $100 for the month of February. So I got to be about that thing and I got to get it done.
Okay.
Look at yourself in the mirror and say, what are you going to do today in order to bring in even $1, right? It all adds up. Maybe it's, okay, Jackie, don't stop by McDonald's today, right? Now, that's hard for me. But okay, so it's coming up with ideals and strategies, small ones.
Okay.
I'm not saying get on the stock market, do this. I'm saying start small. The reason why I say start small, and hopefully my husband won't mind me sharing this story. When we first got married, although
He gave her the eyebrow, y'all.
yeah, he gave me an eyebrow. But although we came into marriage without any debt, right? All of our wedding, everything was paid for, but we didn't have any money, right?
Okay.
He had a water jug like you would put in an office situation. But what we would do is all his change, when he would break a 10 or whatever, he would put it in that jug.
Right. Right.
So he had done it for years and years and years. And so it was getting a little tight. And he was off on the road because he worked around the country. And so the Lord told me, Jackie, go to that jug. I'm thinking, but that's his special jug. So I called him, and he was like, yeah, go to the jug. And I went to the dollar store, and I got me some coin rollers, and I started pushing all the coins into the rolls, right? And I was pushing it together, and I actually was praying, thanking God, and it started adding up. When I was done, I believe we had about between $75, almost $80.
Nice.
Okay, that's real money. And back then, that was real money. Okay, for us. And it taught me a lesson.
Okay.
Even your small pennies add up. We had nothing. Now, he did have a couple of 50-cent pieces in there.
Okay.
But for the most part, it was pennies and quarters. Pennies, quarters, dimes, nickels. That's it.
Yeah.
It was just change, pocket change, stuff that literally people throw out on the street.
Yeah.
It adds up.
It does. And for people nowadays, because a lot of people carry plastic now, debit card or something like that, so they may not necessarily have the cash.
Right.
But as you mentioned with the apps, there are things like Acorn.
Yes, exactly.
But
that is a fee.
There is a fee for that.
There is a fee for that.
Okay.
I'm just saying. So
we'll come back around to that another time.
Again, be very careful with apps. They sound good, but I'm really speaking today for the folks that are struggling.
Okay.
They're paycheck to paycheck, right?
Okay.
Once you get out of the paycheck to paycheck mentality, okay, then you can start branching out. You can start investing. You can start, but we starting from like ground zero.
And everybody has started there. It's okay. Don't feel like you're at the bottom of the barrel.
That's right.
Everybody starts somewhere.
You have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So that's really where I'm focusing today on is how to get started. And really it's with the mind, feeling that, first of all, budgeting is not a bad word.
Right.
Everybody budgets. I'm talking about everybody who has real money, okay, to throw around. Or they should. And if they don't, that's when you hear about people, going bankrupt or, this new celebrity is broke because you know what? They got money real quick.
Yep.
And they didn't have anybody talking to them about the stuff that we're talking about today.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And it, like you said, starts, how do you eat an elephant?
Just one bite at a time.
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time.
So you don't have to, wait until you hit the big payday or whatever to start thinking about it. No, get it in your system now. Get it in your mindset now. And when it comes, it'll be no different.
Right.
It'll be no different because you already got a lifestyle set up that's geared toward discipline. And that's really what we're talking about.
Discipline. And discipline's not a bad word either.
It's not a bad word.
It keeps us on the straight and narrow. It keeps us doing what we need to do. And some people who may be listening to this are saying, well, I want to start a business and I want to do all these things. Well, guess what? If you can't get your personal finances in order, what makes you think you can run a business?
Uh-oh.
Right? Because it's going to be the same chaos. You're still going to be, robbing Peter to pay Paul. Right? The same stuff, how you're juggling bills now on your personal, you're going to be doing the same thing on the business level. So it's imperative to get it now with your personal finances so that you can have the more in a business endeavor. Okay.
What else do you have for us? Because I know you have some other topics. I want to make sure we hit as many as we can because time moves fast. I know, it's going fast. We're at 12:45. We got about 15 minutes. It's going so we have to do this again.
Yeah.
That's already a given.
I would love to do that.
If you want to hear more about this from her, if you want to say, yeah, Al, you need to have a second show with this wonderful corporate mentor on, Jackie Cross, I want you to say absolutely yes or say yes. Give us a thumbs up. Put something in the comment section. Say, yeah, I'm loving it. Send up some hearts. Do some likes. Do something because I know this is touching people. I know it is.
I hope so.
And I need you to do something. For those of you that are watching right now, if you haven't done so already, you can tell just from what you've heard so far that we're not saying anything that's going to embarrass you, anything that's going to be rude or derogatory. So I'm asking you to share this live session right now, this live coaching session right now. Share it on your Facebook page. Just go to the bottom, hit share, and share it live wherever anybody is watching, and make sure that many people are seeing this because this is information that needs to get out to everybody. This is
everybody.
We don't teach this kind of stuff in schools
and
anymore.
We need to.
Yeah.
We need to, right?
Yeah.
We expect kids to graduate from high school or even from college and just automatically know how to manage their finances.
Yeah.
It was never taught in school, never taught at home, and then they're wondering why kids are in debt, right?
And why they moving back in.
So if you don't want your kids to move back in, maybe you should start 185, 6, and 7 saying, hey, we need a bank account.
Right.
Hey, we need to save some money.
Absolutely. So go
Okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
So one thing too, some just small strategies, right, that you can use in order to help to save money. Limit ATM withdrawals.
Okay.
A lot of times people are like, I gotta go get money, because they like having cash on them. Some people, that may be old school, maybe that's for the 40 and over crowd, I don't know. But they want cash. And they're not even going to places where the fees are free, right? So that's a whole nother thing, right? Because those fees add up. But even if you are...
You mean like going to an ATM that's not with your bank?
Yeah, in your bank or your credit union, right?
Right.
But even if they are free, you pulling out money and pulling out, that money already was marked maybe for the electricity bill or the water bill or whatever. So now you're pulling out money on the back end and then wondering, why am I overdraft?
Yeah.
Well, you're overdraft because you withdrew too much. I mean, I know it's funny, but it happens all the time.
Yeah. Mom and them, even though their system may have seemed a little antiquated with the envelopes.
Oh,
I mean,
I'm glad you mentioned that.
it
still works.
It works.
For people, I have shared this with people in the past. If you really are like, listen, I don't want to use the app. I don't know nothing about using no spreadsheet. I say pencil and paper and envelopes. And the envelopes mean whatever those expenses that you wrote, you keep a designated envelope where you would put that amount of money. So let's say rent, okay? You got one envelope that says rent.
Yeah.
You put that money in as soon as you get it from your paycheck. That's rent, never to be used for anything else.
Right.
Groceries, let's put the grocery money, you know, and so forth and so on. Whatever your amount of money is, you put it to the side.
Okay.
Okay. I know a lot of people don't use checks anymore, but if you have checks, you could do the same kind of thing.
Okay.
Yep. So it's very simple. They even have apps that kind of like are virtual envelopes if you want to do it that way. So, but old stuff still works.
Yeah.
You know, we can still employ those old techniques.
And I mean, not to jump subject, but I mean, eventually technology is going to run its course and people are going to get tired of that because there's always some tweaks and things in there, some bugs that could cause things to go a little awry. So it may be time now in 2020 as we are quote unquote in the future to start implementing some of that old stuff. Because it was sure, it was solid, it was definite, and then as we work our way into the understanding, then maybe technology will become a friend to us. But we don't have to start with that.
Right.
We don't have to have a 90,000 IQ to be able to budget properly.
You absolutely. If you can add and you can subtract, you can budget. You don't even need to multiply or divide.
See, look at that.
I mean, seriously, it's very, very simple. Okay.
All right, what else you got?
You know, making sure to pay off credit cards. We talked about that a little bit. Even if you can't maybe pay the minimum, pay something, right? So you can keep those creditors and things so that it won't go to collections and so forth and so on, right? Because, you know, I know you had a guest on talking about your credit score, right?
Right.
All of this stuff affects your credit score, which then means to try to get a loan, it's going to cost you more. And it's a vicious cycle, right?
Yeah.
So if we start paying it off now, we can get out of debt so that we can have more money on hand for those emergencies and things. And it's not just emergency, even good things, vacations, weddings.
Right.
Our daughter is graduating. She's going to Costa Rica. Okay. All this stuff costs money. So we have to set aside, you know, in order to be able to save for those.
What she really trying to tell you, Jasmine, is to get a job. No, I'm just joking.
Yes. Get a J-O and a B. Okay. She needs a J-O-B. Okay. Anybody out there hiring? She's 17. Anyway. Okay. Moving on. Also, paying off car loans, right?
Okay.
Paying a little bit extra in order to pay off that 5-year car loan sooner.
Okay.
Okay. That also applies to mortgages.
All right.
Now, I have a little bit of information I'm going to read off here because
Okay.
I couldn't remember the data.
That's fine.
Paying a little extra each month on your mortgage by rounding up. If you repay $100 more a month on your mortgage, let's say if you had taken out a $150,000 loan,
Okay.
Over the lifetime of the loan, you would have saved a little less than $73,000 in interest, because there's interest that's on your mortgage, right?
Yeah.
And you would be able to shave off 7.5 years off the loan. So you figure on a traditional 30-year mortgage, right? You would be able to shave off 7.5 years, and you're saving
Yeah.
almost $73,000. That's real money.
That's real money.
That's real money. You can do something with that.
Cold hard cash.
I could go to, Barbados with it. Okay. I could have fun. So it's, and you may be saying, well, I don't have that extra 100. But remember before we said if the goal was just $100 for the month of February.
From the Starbucks.
From Starbucks, right. Then that can go towards the mortgage, towards the credit card, towards the whatever it is that you want to pay down and get rid of, right? And then once you've mastered maybe 3 months of, I can save $100,
Okay.
then you take it up a notch.
Okay.
200, 300, 500.
Because I could imagine the more you start seeing it grow in that account,
excited.
you get
I get
excited. It
excited.
gets a little addictive too.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It's like a game for me.
Okay.
I'm like, where can I find the money? Show me the money.
Like Tetris.
Yeah, it is. It's like Tetris. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So, and then eventually, you may get to a point where you're like, hey, I'm at a point, my goal is $1,000 a month.
Okay.
$1,000 a month over a year is $12,000 a year of savings.
That's not bad.
That's not bad at all. A lot of Americans wish they could have that.
Most Americans, from what I understand, in savings have less than $1,500.
I know.
Now, that's not to point fingers or to be, like, shame, shame, shame. It's just where things are. The point is, I think that you're saying, and I think that we're trying to say with this, is that it doesn't have to be that way.
That's right.
And
It
many
shouldn't be.
times, we're just spending it, and we're not seeing anything for it because it's going in our belly, it's going into the ocean,
or
drains lead to the ocean, right?
or
But
in the closet of clothes that we don't wear, can't fit, still got tags on.
yeah, how many pair of shoes can I wear at one time?
Exactly.
So that kind of thing. So it's not that it's not there. It's just that we have to, in addition to what you said, develop a why. We got to figure out what is your why. You hear many people talk about that, especially in self-help, in motivation and things of that nature. Develop your why. Why do I want to save this $100 a month? Right. Why do I need to go ahead and say, okay, Starbucks, I'm gonna have to put you on the back burner for a minute for this $25 a week, for this $100 a month, for this $1,200 a year, so that I can add a little bit extra to the mortgage, things of that nature. Develop your why. What is it that you really want? And then when you write that down, then put it somewhere where you can see it.
Yes, on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Like a mirror.
Yeah.
Right?
You go to the
brush your
bathroom every
teeth.
day.
Yeah. There it is. It's right there.
You go to the refrigerator.
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to tell all my business about
What I
the
used to do,
refrigerator.
I actually got a 3x5 card. I put down the things that I wanted on there, and I taped it to my bathroom mirror. I taped it to the refrigerator, and I taped it to the middle part of my steering wheel on my car.
So you see it.
Okay. Well, I ain't got no car. Put it in your wallet. Put it,
And then pull it out and look at it.
Tape it to the back of your phone so that every time you pick it up, you're reminded of what it is that you want and why you're budgeting, why you're disciplining yourself, why you're making this not even a real sacrifice, but for some of these little junk food items or whatever it is, like you said, the extra clothing,
that you don't really need.
That we don't really need. Remember, let it be a reminder to you. Okay, this can wait. It's not going to make me or break me. It's not going to destroy me. I'm not going to die if I don't wear this particular fingernail polish.
Right.
I can go ahead and use that to something that's going to have a greater good.
Right. And by the way, having things is not a bad situation.
Right.
But we got to budget for them.
Yeah.
Right. I know in the past, this is years ago, I was saying, if you can have that big screen TV. Okay, so we don't have big screens like we used to, but we have the large monitors, LED, LCD screens or whatever.
Right.
Whatever it is that you want. Okay, first of all, research. How much does it cost? Write it down. Ooh, then you look at it. Then you said, do you really want it?
Right.
Okay, no, I still want it. Okay, divide that up. See how you're going to actually obtain it.
Yeah.
And then once you get the money together, do you still want it?
Yeah, wait a little bit more.
Wait a little bit.
Yeah, see if it's
Because sometimes, I'm going to tell you, we think we want something, but then when we actually get the money, it's like, well, this is a lot of money. Do I really want this thing? It's like, I could go do something else with it. So it's things like that.
Absolutely.
So we have to take a time.
How much time do we have left here? We got about 3 minutes. This
wow.
time is going by so fast. But I got to say, Jackie, I thank you so much for this session, and we're going to have more. We are. Tarsha already knows my wife. She handles all of the booking and everything for me. She makes me look smart. Basically,
Yes,
basically
she
what it
does.
is. She makes me look like I really know what I'm doing. I just pick things up and put them down. That's really all I do. But the point is that we're getting this. Do I see Ronnie on here? Hey, Ronnie Wright is watching. My brother Ron, my brother Billy is watching. Our brother, yeah.
That's my son.
Yeah,
All these
exactly.
people, my sons.
We got so many people on here watching right now. We thank you all for joining. And listen, if you have a question or something like that, we got a couple minutes left. If you have a question or maybe a comment, go ahead and just throw it in the comment section now, because we definitely want to answer it. And even if we don't get to answer it while we're on the program, we'll answer it afterwards,
Yes,
because I'm sure a lot of people are going to be watching. Like I said, don't forget, you want to share this session, this coaching session. So even after it's over, you can still hit share and share it to your page so that other people can watch it. And it's not about how many people watch it. It's about making sure that all people who need to hear the information gets it. And I could
That's
not
what's
have
important.
Yeah, I could not have had a more wonderful time with my sister here. It's been so much fun. I'm telling you,
It's been fun. I've really enjoyed it.
And this is really how we talk at home too, family.
Well,
so,
except for usually I be hitting
well, yeah,
you.
she
hit you.
might karate chop me or judo chop me a few more times than that, and we might say some crazier things.
Yes.
But the point is that all of our discussions have meaning to them.
Yes, they do.
And that's really where the whole thing starts. It's just having a discussion about it. Have a conversation about it. If you are in a place where you say, you know what, I don't really know where to start with this. I mean, it sounds good. I know I need to do it, but I really honestly, I hear what you're saying. It all sounds great, but I just don't really know where to start. You can reach out to me. You can reach out to you.
That's right.
You go to her Facebook page, Jackie Cross.
Actually,
Jacqueline.
it's Jacqueline. JACQULINE. There's no E between the U and the L. Cross.
Don't get in trouble spelling it wrong.
That's
y'all.
right.
But you can go to her. I'm sure if you have a question in there, she'd be willing. She mentors a lot of people.
Yes, I do.
On a personal level.
Yes.
And on a corporate level.
Yes.
Okay. For GM.
Yes.
So she knows what she's talking about. She's qualified, and not just for the higher ups, if you want to call them that. But I'm talking about all of us regular, everyday people like me. Okay. She has wonderful sound advice. It's not over your head. It's practical things that you can apply right away to your life. Her and her husband both, they are very, very good at doing this. One day I'm gonna have your husband on the show.
Yes, I think you
because
should.
there's a lot of things that I really want to talk about to the men in relation, and not just to men either, but people who handle a household.
Right.
I want to talk to him about some things. One of the greatest things that I know that we used to love about your husband Grover is this. I didn't know that coupon clipping was like a real thing.
Oh yeah.
But
He's really
folks
into
got
that.
real systems that really learn. I mean, you can save
A lot
whole
of
lot,
money.
and they've brought that into our household, my wife and I, and so we're so thankful for that. We thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for
we know
having
you
me.
had many things to do, but the fact that you all are here with us today, we really appreciate it. I hope you like your cup.
I do.
That
Thank you.
was printed by First Impression,
Yes, got
right?
my name
And
on
she
it.
got her name on it and everything too. And this is something that's done by my wife. Her business is First Impression. She does T-shirts, she does mugs, hats, she does
it all.
She does it all. Decorating, event planning, you name it, she can do it. And I just want to say thank you so much
She's
to her.
talented.
Talented.
She's
And
very
also
talented.
to our sponsor today, holycloud.us. Again, thank you so much for sponsoring us. Go to that website, family, holycloud.us. Make sure you get your website if you need one, your email addresses, your SSL certificates, whatever it is that you need, your domain name, they can do all of that. And they're very, very, very reasonably priced. I think you'll find their prices are much better than many places you could go to online to get a domain name or a website. That's who we use for God's Holy Temple Church, the church that we all belong to.
Yep.
And they're great. great people. So we got to wrap it up. Our time is done, but thank you all again. God bless you. Next time we come together, we'll have more information for you. Matter of fact, stay tuned weekly, like during the week, so you can have an update on when the next session between Jackie and I is going to be, so we can finish up this conversation about budgeting.
Okay.
And then also, brothers, get ready too, because Pastor G, he's a pastor, Pastor Grover Cross, he's going to be on the show eventually too, so we can talk to the men about some things that we need to do regarding our household.
Wow.
How to be effective and efficient in our household. Now, I know some brothers might not necessarily like to hear a man tell them what to do in the household, but I'm telling you, if you're willing to listen, the Bible says that a person who's willing to listen to wisdom is wise.
That's right.
My father taught me something. He said, he that knows and knows he knows is wise, teach him. But he who knows not and knows not he knows not is a fool, leave him alone. So you gotta make sure that you tune in and hear this information when it comes about. That's all the time we have for today. God bless you all. Anything, last comments you want to say?
Nothing. It was fun, though.
It was.
I loved
thank you
it.
so much. Love you,
Loved it.
sister.
I love you.
All right. Talk to you all later. I love you so much. Coaching by Al. We'll see you now. That was fun.
You are listening to Worship Radio International, the world's #1 online Christian radio station. Check out our website at www.worshipradio.faith. Or follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Worship Radio INT. This is the future.